One morning, the first light of dawn had just spread across the earth, and the Buddha was walking alone on the riverbank. Suddenly, from afar, a young man came running with a crazy look, constantly shouting, "So miserable! I'm so miserable!" The young man ran closer to where the Buddha was standing. The Buddha looked at him with compassionate eyes. He also looked back at the Buddha in confusion. The Buddha's solemn appearance captured his crazy mind, so he knelt down before him. "Are you what people often call the Buddha of great compassion? Please be merciful and save me. My name is Jia Xa from Cat City. I am living in a miserable and insecure state. Every day, since the sun has just risen, I have been constantly harassed by matters of beauty and wealth. As soon as dusk falls and the lights turn on, beautiful girls gather to dance and sing in glorious banquets. At first, I was once infatuated with it, but day by day, I honestly couldn't find any pleasure in it anymore. Yesterday, when the party ended, I dragged my tired and exhausted body home to sleep. During that dreamy drowsiness, I was awakened by a terrible nightmare and couldn't sleep again. I sat up, got out of bed and left the bedroom, and saw the singer, my personal lover, playing around with a singing double. At that time, I couldn't hold back, a fiery anger burned in my chest, my nerves became chaotic, so I went crazy and ran away from home in the middle of the night. All the way I was like a blind man, running madly, as if there was some force pushing me. In the dawn light, I ran to the bank of this river and saw that it seemed like he was the person who was hired as the golden knight in the Buddha. Please save me, my mind is extremely troubled. The Buddha compassionately reached out and patted Jia Xa, who ran. "I am the Buddha you speak of. You have nothing left to worry about anymore. Once you meet me, you will be at peace and at ease. Now calm down and think. Is there any party in the world that lasts forever without ending? Can people be intimate with each other all the time? You shouldn't be sad, this world is just an illusion. Everything in this world is impermanent, even if we can't rely on our own body, how can we want another person to belong to us? Your opportunity to be saved has come, you should give up everything." When Jia Xa heard the Buddha's Dharma, the fire of resentment in his heart was like being watered by nectar. He looked up at the Buddha's gentle appearance, was moved to tears, and quickly knelt down on the ground in agony to beg the Buddha to allow him to become a monk. The Buddha again used his compassionate eyes to shine towards Jia Xa and said, "Jia Xa, you should immediately return home, your parents are worried about you right now. Not every time you leave your family, you become a monk, because even though your body wears the robe of renunciation, your mind is still infected with worldly desires. A person can live in deep forests and mountains but still often think about fame and fortune, that person cannot be called a monk. For example, a loved one wears a beautiful and precious necklace, but his mind is bright and pure, he can subdue enemies and afflictions, he does not distinguish between enemies and relatives towards others, and he also knows how to teach with the truth. They are called a true monk. So what kind of monk do you want to become? World-honored one, you have explained the meaning of renunciation so that I clearly understand and can accept it. I request the world-honored one to be merciful and allow me to become a monk in the way of abandoning afflictions, to become a sower of truth, to be his disciple, of the noble Buddha." The Buddha then accepted Jia Xa's request and the Buddha's disciples became more and more numerous. Jia Xa's father was Elder Ka Losie. He woke up early the next morning and heard the servants say that in the middle of the night. Jia Xa left home for no reason, not knowing where to find him. After hearing this, he was horrified and immediately ordered his servants to split up and go in all directions to search. He himself set out to inquire everywhere, thanks to which he managed to find his way to the banks of the Phuc Lasie River. Elder Ka Losie crossed the river and went to the Buddha. The Buddha told Jia Xa to stay away, then personally went out to meet Elder Ka Losie. The elder said, "Are you a monk? I have never seen a monk with such majestic appearance as him. Have you seen my son named Jia Xa? Please sit down. Surely we will find your son." Is that true? I see that you are a noble person, you certainly don't lie. Elder Ka Losei then sat down facing the Buddha. The Buddha then clearly explained to him the truths such as, how humans need the benefits of almsgiving in keeping the precepts, then talked about the afflictions and sufferings that humans often have to endure, and wealth. Like foam on the surface of the water, there is no way to rely on it. Elder Ka Losei heard the Buddha's teachings like that and was extremely moved. When he heard that he was Prince Siddhartha of Ca Tai La who had become a monk and attained enlightenment, he was both impressed and excited. He suddenly knelt down before the Buddha and paid homage. At that time, the Buddha called Jia Xe to meet his father. In fact, the elder originally suspected that Jia Xe had committed suicide, but now seeing that his son was still alive and healthy as usual and had taken refuge with the Buddha, he was happy beyond words, and highly approved of Jia Xe's actions. Ordained. He himself also asked for refuge and became his lay disciple. That was the Buddha's first Upasaka disciple. Ka Losei again earnestly prayed to the Buddha to come to his house the next day so that he could receive offerings. The next day, the Buddha brought 6 disciples to receive offerings, and Jia Xe's mother also asked to take refuge under Tathagata's throne, to become a lay woman, living a family life imbued with Buddhism. That was the Buddha's first disciple Upaya.
Thank you for spending your valuable time on my channel journey to enlightenment. Wishing you a very peaceful and happy day. Don't forget to click like and subscribe to my support channel. See you in the next video.